Wow, so the third season of Discovery of Witches is absolutely awesome, and it totally ends the show in a really incredible way. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Lifestyle Critic. I hope you're having a brilliant day. So in this video we are going to be reviewing the third season of A Discovery of Witches, and I have to say this season in particular was just so brilliant, and it literally dives straight in there. I love the fact that they're all in present day now, and it was just loads of non-stop action, loads of twists and turns, so much betrayal, and loads of power struggles happening in the background and in the foreground as well, which was just so compelling, and I cannot wait to break down this season for you in this video review. And I also wanted to give a bit of a spoiler warning, as we are going to be talking about all things to do with the third season. So if you haven't seen the third season completely yet, then maybe check out this video when you have seen it. But otherwise, if you don't mind things being spoiled, then I hope you really enjoy this breakdown video. So the thing that I love about this show is that even though there's all of this crazy magical end of the worldy type stuff happening in this show, it still has this bow of sophistication, and everything just looks and feels absolutely incredible, which is just so interesting from an aesthetic point of view. But in terms of the main storyline strands of this third season, the first one that we need to talk about is the fact that Diana is still on this mission to complete the Book of Life and find the final few missing pages. And on this point, I think it really did show how this character really is a master communicator, as she was just super empathetic and was really able to understand where the other two characters are coming from, and in turn was able to really influence them and convince them to give her the final 2 pages so that she can complete this book. And from that point of view, I just thought, wow, this character is not only really inspiring, but is just so brilliant in how she's just able to navigate everything in a really classy, cool way, whereas the vampire Gallowglass that was with her just wanted to use brute force strength to force the other person to give her the final page, which I just thought was really interesting. And when she did get all of the final few pages, she was able to complete the Book of Life, and I absolutely loved how the Book of Life then went inside of her. Maybe because she is pure of heart, maybe because she is this ultra powerful witch. And then with the book inside of her, she really did become the most valued player out of all of the different characters, as this person is now just so powerful, but always will use her magic with responsibility in the right way. And then we have all of Matthew's storylines, and I absolutely love how they were showing that when these two characters are together, they really are a force to be reckoned with. But I did quite like, actually, the fact that they kept these two characters a bit separate as well while they were doing their own individual storylines, and then when they did come back together again, they are even more powerful. So I absolutely love the fact that, like I said, they had storylines when they are together as well as when they are apart. And in terms of Matthew's storylines, I love that he was protecting his family so much and was always trying to find a cure for blood rage, and at the same time has to battle and contend with so many vampires. For example, Baldwin, Benjamin, and Jabir as well. And then of course his confrontation with Ransom as well. I honestly thought that confrontation was absolutely brilliant. And again, you can really see that Matthew was learning from Diana and was able to use a more peaceful solution to try to convince and be on the same page and side. When he was apologizing and being really remorseful for everything that this character did in the past, I just thought the growth of the Matthew de Clermont character was really great. Speaking of Jabir, they did such a good job as well in terms of showing that he really is the master manipulator, pulling all of the strings in the background, a little bit like Palpatine from the Star Wars series, and really was manipulating and planning everything for such a long time. For example, the implosion of all of the de Clermont characters trying to reign supreme within the congregation, and also for so many years in the background was grooming the Benjamin character, really wanted to cause absolute destruction for all of the creatures and really was trying to reign supreme. In terms of all of the vampire characters, I just thought this character was just written and played so brilliantly. Speaking of Benjamin, him and Sati really were the true dark versions of the Matthew and Diana characters, and I thought the final episode where both of them were trying to kill the Matthew character was just so shocking. My only slight bugbear is that I would have loved to have seen a little bit more of this, because they were developing and building up both of these characters to be the true evil people and to be the real thorns in Matthew and Diana's way really well. And of course they were in the final 3 episodes, but I just feel like they could have done a little bit more with it. But at the same time, what they did show is that Diana really is even more powerful and is able to easily and effortlessly was able to stop and destroy these two characters. So from that point of view, if the purpose was to actually show how powerful Diana was, then fair enough. And again, we got to see Diana's masterful communication skills in play once more, when she was able to communicate and convince the entire congregation to drop the Covenant, which was just so mind-blowing. And speaking of Diana, I feel like she had some awesome one-liners in the final few episodes in particular, when she was saying to the Satu character that, you know, power without consciousness is a really savage weapon, and was saying to the congregation that power really shouldn't be held in the privileged and self-interested few people. So I just feel like from a storyline point of view, this season was absolutely awesome. So the casting characters in the third season of The Discovery of Witches are absolutely awesome. I mean, they've got quite a few number of characters that they have to play with in this season, and I think they did a really good job in terms of giving all of them their own individual storylines whilst building the big narrative in this season as well. So let's break them down one by one. So first of course, we have Teresa Palmer, who did such a good job as the Diana Bishop character. Super powerful, super classy, and like I said, a super great communicator in this season in particular as well. I absolutely love the growth that this character has had since we first saw her in the first season, to how she's slowly been understanding this world and growing her own power. And by the end of this season, I just love where she is in terms of being super confident within herself, being really confident within knowing what's right and wrong, and also just a great support network for a great number of characters, whilst also just being incredibly ultra powerful at the same time. So I just feel like they did the Diana Bishop character so well in this season. Next up, of course, we have McHugh Goode playing the Matthew de Clermont character. And like I said, has to contend with quite a lot this season. Not only is he protecting his brand new family, but also has so many characters, so many vampiric characters in particular, after him and wanting to kill him. I mean, first of all, he has to contend with the head of his family, the Baldwin character. That is causing a lot of friction within the vampire community. And then also not knowing that Jabir in the background really is trying to implode and destroy the de Clermonts once and for all. And then of course he has his vampiric son Benjamin trying to kill him completely, and just him coming out of the blue, out of nowhere, and then just having this battle with Matthew. I just thought it was really, really great. And likewise, I absolutely love the growth that the Matthew character has had across all of the different seasons, and just his union with Diana I just think is really, really great. And also I do feel like at some moments this actor was overacting in certain parts, but I just feel like from a character point of view, he did such a strong performance. Next up we have Edward Bluemel playing the Marcus character, and he had so much more to do this season than in the previous two seasons. I mean, he was so pivotal in trying to get the new Scion created, with Matthew now at the top and being able to create his own decisions without having to have the pressure or the worry of what the impact is going to be on the Baldwin character. And also his romantic interest with another human character, Phoebe. Is he going to convert her into a vampire? And also, I feel like this character could have his own spin-off based on the spin-off book series from the All Souls trilogy, so we may well see a lot more of this character. Next up we have Peter MacDonald, who is playing the recasted role of Baldwin. And I feel like, you know, whenever you're going to do a recast, especially in the final season of a TV show, you're always going to have a bit of a hard job to do. But I feel like this actor actually did a really, really good job and played Baldwin so brilliantly. And I loved all of the conflict that this character was having, both internally and externally, in terms of not knowing who to side with, not knowing who to believe, and was always championing these really old, ancient ways of living that his vampiric father had been introducing. So I absolutely loved all of the conflict that this character was under. And also you could really feel the burden of pressure that this character was having, and how he was somewhat relieved when Matthew decided to have his own Scion, so he wasn't actually responsible for any of the decisions, and actually all of that pressure is now on Matthew's shoulders. So I just feel like this actor played all of those aspects really, really well. And also how he then has a massive change of heart when Domenico reveals the truth that actually Jabir is the one that is trying to implode all of the de Clermonts. I feel like this actor was really, really great. And on that point, I feel like Domenico is a really interesting character. I mean, he never really got his hands dirty with any of the conflict, but he was always very, very self-interested, but just wasn't doing it in a really sadistic and evil way like the Jabir character was. Speaking of Jabir, we then have Trevor Eve, who was brilliantly playing this character. I absolutely loved it when it was revealed that actually this person is the real master manipulator, the one that is pulling all of the strings in the background and is planning the implosion of the de Clermont characters. And I absolutely loved it how even in the final episode and the final few moments that you see this character, he is still trying all of the tricks in his arsenal to try to convince all of the congregation to turn against the Diana character. And I absolutely love the final shot of this character that you see where all of the other congregational members are now really happy with this new union that they're going to be creating, whereas Jabir really is in the outside on his own, and how you really got to see the consequences of him trying to pull all of the strings, trying to be at the top of the food chain, really does come back to backfire on him. We then have Benjamin, so whereas the Jabir character really was planning everything in the background, the Benjamin character really was causing absolute destruction in the foreground, and I thought it was just so dark how this character wants to kill and murder his own vampiric father in truly the most brutal way possible. I feel like they could have explained a little bit more in terms of why he really does hate the Matthew character, but I guess, you know, being under the influence of Jabir for so long really has warped and twisted this guy's mind. I thought Agatha was a really fascinating character this season as well. Again, Jabir was really making this character feel like she has to go into hiding and really be away from all of the other characters. And I thought her underdog storyline arc was really, really great. And she was so triumphant by the end of this season that actually now she is going to be at the top of the congregation, which was just so fantastic. And it really does show that patience and doing the right thing really will lead to rewards, and all of your hard work will be really recognized, which I thought was so brilliant from this character's point of view. Peter Knox wasn't as big of a character or influence as he was in the previous 2 seasons, but definitely was still a bit of a thorn in all of the witches' way. And I absolutely loved it how the Sarah character really was able to take her true revenge on this character, and I feel like the way in which Peter Knox was ultimately destroyed was really, really powerful. Speaking of witches, I thought the Satu character was so evil and so demonic, and I absolutely loved how they were building this character to really be the yin and yang and complete opposite of the Diana character, as this person is really channeling all of the dark energy and all of the dark magic. And I absolutely loved it how when they were even just revealing that this character is going to betray the Peter Knox character, and she really is going to be the evil witch and wolf character that was being prophesized, and it wasn't actually Diana that's the one that's going to cause absolute chaos and carnage. But I thought that this character, like I said before, was just removed and taken off the chessboard just so quickly. I mean, I get it that they were showing how powerful the Diana character was, but I just feel like they could have done a little bit more given how much they were building up the Satu character. Gallow Glass I thought was a really, really great character, somebody that had been secretly harboring a lot of love for the Diana character, secretly was her guardian angel and was watching over her, and then has to see his heart breaking because he's seeing another vampire falling in love with her and Diana choosing Matthew instead of him. I just thought all of the pain that you could feel from this character was just communicated on screen so brilliantly. And then finally we have Jack, played by Tony Regbo, the adopted orphan boy from Elizabethan London from the 2nd season. And I absolutely loved how they brought this character back, but this time they just aged him up a little bit. And this time you could really see the blood rage being activated in somebody who isn't able to control their blood rage, and just all of the chaos and carnage that this is able to create. And I absolutely loved it how they were just then explaining that actually blood rage is going to be dormant in some characters and active in other characters, and how also this DNA was then explaining that all of the creatures are actually part of the same family, and that demons are the one at the top of this. So I just feel like all of the explanations of this was really, really fascinating and really, really interesting. And like I said, they had quite a number of characters in this season, but I feel like they explored and used all of them really, really well. So the visuals in the 3rd season of A Discovery of Witches were really, really strong. Whilst I would have liked a little bit more magic and a little bit more fight sequences happening in this season, when they did happen and when they were on screen, they looked absolutely incredible. To pull out a few, for example, I absolutely loved it when Baldwin just smashed his entrance into the christening, and then when he was fighting both Matthew and Diana, I thought that sequence was absolutely awesome. Also seeing Matthew fighting Baldwin and then just being defeated and then just having his blood being sucked out of him in this really evil, horrific location, I just thought was absolutely brilliant. And also Diana versus Satu in that space was just absolutely phenomenal. Like I keep saying, I would have loved for this to have been expanded a little bit more, but it really did show how absolutely unstoppable and super powerful the Diana character is. Peter Knox's defeat I thought was absolutely wicked too, and that Tree of Life sequence in the final few moments of this season was really, really strong. I mean, considering the fact that they filmed this entire season during COVID, is really, really impressive in and of itself, and may well explain why there were more scenes where it's just a couple of characters talking in a room than all of the magic and wonder and all of the dynamism that we had seen in the previous 2 seasons. But you know, that being said, I still think it was really, really strong, and like I said right in the beginning, did have its bow wrapped around with its sophistication and really super classy aesthetic as well. So from a comparisons point of view, first let's look at the complete seasons of A Discovery of Witches. I definitely feel like this is the best season. Out of the 3, I feel like it's the most strongest, so much stuff happened, and it just went straight into all of the action, whereas I feel like the first 2 seasons took a little while to get going, whereas this time it was really, really awesome. I feel like they wrapped everything up really, really well, and I loved all of the individual storylines that they gave all of the different characters. In terms of comparing it to other shows, I feel like this series is so much stronger than Cursed, His Dark Materials, Carnival Row, Shadow and Bone, Lock and Key, Britannia. I do still prefer the original and the rebooted Charm TV series though, but that being said, A Discovery of Witches is an awesome show, and the 3rd season in particular was really, really strong. So overall, I really, really enjoyed the 3rd season of A Discovery of Witches. I feel like it wrapped everything up really, really well and was a really fitting end, and was also really, really faithful as well. And I feel like it ended in a really triumphant way and was just a really strong season in and of itself, and packed an almighty punch. And I feel like every single episode was really, really gripping and really ended on a massive cliffhanger that just really made you want to watch the next episode immediately. And so for all of those reasons, I'm going to give the 3rd season of A Discovery of Witches a solid 8.5 out of 10. Now I'd love to hear from you, so please let me know what you thought of the 3rd season in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.